Welcome to Lutron. In this video today we're going to show you a series fence versus a parallel fence and how you can go about choosing your electric fence for your house or your commercial property, as well as the different materials used. So to start, we're going to start with the COC. And what exactly is a COC? So a COC is a certificate of compliance that you would need if you selling your property, or when your fence is being installed. Your installer generally sends you or issues you a COC. So in this fence here, it's a series fence. It's a Lutron fence. It's how we install our electric fencing versus a parallel fence, which is what some guys use and do. Cost-wise, this fence would cost you about $3 grand more than that fence. But in terms of your security, you're like 200 times better, more secure with this fence than that fence. So we're just going to start. If you have an electric fence at home or thinking about putting one, these are the things that you should look for. So number one is your energizer and the size of energizer that is used for your property. So if you have a 100-meter boundary property wall, you'd use a standard Nemtech Wizard 4 energizer. If you're having a bigger fence like a 600-meter property, you then go for a bigger energizer, which is the M18. On this fence here, you see there's a Wizard 4 energizer also done. Most guys could actually, or some guys actually, put a smaller energizer and that does 800 meters, but the connection, which is in parallel, is not effective. So you can get a cheaper price using a smaller energizer, but your fence is not actually secure. So just be sure when someone's quoting you an electric fence, you ask them about the specs and the dimensions of the energizer. Then the other things to look for are your brackets. Each of your brackets need to be a maximum distance of 3 meters apart. That goes for your gates as well. And then your warning signs, which we call danger signs, needs to be a maximum of 10 meters apart, and you should have them on your property. If you don't have any of these things mentioned so far, your fence is not legal or COC compliant. Then you should have earth spikes. You should have 3 earth spikes. In this video you can't see earth spikes, but you should have 3 earth spikes at your energizer or below your energizer or to the nearest point, and then one earth spike every 30 meters following that. And in terms of your electric fence itself, you need to have, if your property is on the coast, you need to have stuff like Denso tape, line clamps or silicone tape, and proper stainless steel ferrules or tin coated ferrules. It's obviously depending on your area and how far you are from the sea. We always recommend the stainless steel wire, 316 grade. If you're about 10 kilometers away from the coast, you could go with the 1.2 mil. If you're within 5 kilometers of the coast, we recommend the 2 mil at least. So this is the energizer, this is a siren. We always recommend a siren on our fences. You could put an electric fence up without a siren. The downside to that is when the fence alarm is activated, the energizer makes a noise, and if the energizer is installed in your garage or your room, you're not going to hear an alarm. Where if you have a siren, you're going to be alarmed by the siren noise and obviously know that someone's into your property. Then you can also put additional stuff like a light indicator, we call a fence light, that blinks every second the fence pulses, and that will show you that your fence is on, so you have peace of mind. And from here we're going to show you, this is called surge arresters. This is essential for COC. It's to protect your fence from lightning and your energizer. And what we want to demonstrate now is a series fence. You'd actually see, so in this fence the power direction travels on the first wire along here, loops up to the third wire, comes along this way, goes back up, comes along this way, goes back up, and effectively goes along that way, comes back and returns to the energizer. That's a series connection, and that's how a series fence should be connected. Effectively, if you cut any of these live wires, it should trigger your alarm. That's how an electric fence should be installed. That's how it's meant to be installed. However, if you've got a big fence like an 800-meter fence, you can't use one energizer. You've got to use a 2-zone energizer or 2 energizers. You get guys who actually use this energizer and connect the fence like in parallel, and that's when you start having issues. So I'm now going to demonstrate by cutting the live wire. So you guys can just maybe come close. You can see that the fence is on. This light indicates the fence is on. And I'm just quickly going to grab a meter. So this is a fence scope meter that you could purchase from us. It basically shows you if you want to measure your fence. So I'm measuring off the live wire, and there you are showing me 1.5 kV peak and a 7 amp, which is the current. The reason for the 1.5 being so low at this point is there's no earthing into the ground, so there's no earth sparks. So we're now going to demonstrate by starting to cut the wire, and fence is connected properly, you should trigger the alarm. This is if an intruder was trying to separate your wires or trying to cut it. I hope this is going to insulate me, but here it goes. So it should take 3 seconds and then trigger alarm. There you are. So there you are. Luckily my pliers didn't insulate me. So this is if an intruder cut any of your wires, that will trigger the alarm after 3 seconds. So this happens before the guy can actually enter your property, which will obviously alarm you before they can actually get into your house, making you safe. So now we're going to go ahead and go along this fence. This is a typical type of fence that most guys would do for a cheaper price. And as you can see, there's no line clamps on the HT cable, there's no Denso tape, there's no warning signs, there's no surge arresters, and your fence is wide and parallel, meaning I'm going to show you just now by cutting a wire, and the siren won't trigger. This is what we do not recommend, and if you are having a fence something like this, please give us a shout to come and have a look at your fence, because if you are thinking about selling your property, you're not going to get a COC for something like this, and it's going to be quite costly to repair. So we're now going to measure the voltage in this fence. Just to show you, it's also on. There you can see it's showing you 1.5 kVA. The fence is on. Let's try up here. There we are. Showing you. So the way the power travels in this fence, like we went through that side, it will travel on this first wire, but you see the bridge is on this side now and not that way. So that basically means the power doesn't go all the way along this line. So in actual practice, if this fence was 800 meters long, and you had this is the 8-line fence, so you'd possibly have 6 live wires here. So your total distance will be 800 times 6, which will be your live wire distance. But in actual fact, your live wire distance now will just be only one length of this wire, which will be 800 meters. And that's why the small energizer would effectively do your fence, or you think you're doing it, but you're not actually. So I'm now going to go ahead and cut the fence wire and show you that it will not activate. So we're going to go ahead. So at same point in the center, we should cut the wire, and you'll see why a series fence is more effective than a parallel fence. Here goes. So you count 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, so the siren doesn't activate. So this would allow for someone to get into your property and get to you, and as you can see, the energizer still pulses. So I'm now going to show you that the fence is still on and the siren is still connected by trying to trigger the fence through another solution. Let's try that. That should trigger us the alarm. This is the most unlikely place that someone would try to get in, which would be where the loops is, because they would normally try to get in from the center. So I'm now going to trigger it, and you should see that the siren should trigger now only.